Hi, I'm Amber Dancy, CEO of Practical Rebel, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Mayberry. I'm the CEO of Robin Mayberry Creates, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Clare, and I'm the Executive Director of the Seniors Job Bank, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Megan Shelby, and I'm the CEO of Next Step Education, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, my name is Shannon Malkin-Daniels, founder of Speak Success, Public Speaking, Communication, and Confidence Coaching, and you're tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Marianne Pack, CEO of Envision Greatness Press, and you are listening to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life TV show. I'm your host, Dr. Davia Shepherd, and in addition to hosting this show, I also host a women's group called Ladies Power Lunch. Ladies Power Lunch is an amazing place where women in business come together to support each other. Can you imagine that? We're talking about women who are in small business, women who are in larger business, women who might be entrepreneurs or solopreneurs. We have women who are in corporate life, women who are in nonprofit. We even have some members who are retired and they're joining us with sort of a mentorship role in mind. But what holds us together, the glue that keeps us going, is that we all believe that when we support each other, everybody wins. You know that problem that you've been struggling with in your business or even in your life? Guess what? There's somebody out there who's already gone through that. They've been there. They've done that. And honey, they have bought the t-shirt. And these women are part of our group. And they're willing to open up the kimono and share with you their wisdom, their experience, their knowledge, so that you can grow your business smarter and live your optimal life. So what are you waiting for? Come join us. Come be a part of this amazing heart-centered community. Just go to growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook and we'll let you right in. We're going to ask you one question. It's going to be, you feel like you're the kind of person who really believes in this idea of us supporting each other for everybody to win. And if you can answer yes to that question, then you're our kinds of people, and we welcome you. On with the show. Today, our very special guest is Marianne Francis. She is the owner of the trademark Unapologetic, and she is just amazing when it comes to talking about self-love, self-care, and all the things that very many of us who are women in business, we seem to push to the side. Lots of us have left ourselves off our own list, and Marianne is here to remind us to pull it back and actually be a part of our own lives, not just going through the motions, stepping on that treadmill and going day after day after day, but actually being able to live this amazing, beautiful life that we're all here for. One other thing you need to know about Marianne is that she is one of our best-selling authors of our new Ladies Power Lunch anthology called Live Your Optimal Life. It's no surprise that the name of the anthology is Live Your Optimal Life, because that's also the name of our show. And so today we're going to talk to Marianne, and she's going to share a lot of our wisdom with you. She's going to share with you a little snippet of her chapter in the book. So this is going to be really, really great. Welcome, Marianne. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you share with everybody who you are and tell us a little bit about the amazing things that you are doing in the world?
Yes, well, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to be here today. So, again, my name is Marianne. I'm the owner of Mending Hearts LLC out in Connecticut. And for me, being part of Ladies Power Lunch and this new anthology that's coming out soon, I'm so ecstatic to be a part of. I own a mental health private practice and wellness retreat. And our focus is not only on talk therapy, but really it's about choosing your path to healing and growing. And you get to do that with some of the services that we provide. And we provide it in numerous different ways. So whenever somebody comes in, they're really choosing what they feel like they feel more connected to as part of their healing and growing.
I love that you're a mental health practitioner, because we've always needed mental health support. I feel like everybody should be having some sort of mental health support somewhere in their life. And I feel as though over the course of the last few years, society has really started to appreciate more how important focus on mental health really, really is for the well-being of the world in general. What has your experience been with that?
Definitely. When I first started my practice in 2016, there was this need for people to come in, and everything was more individualized, right? And when COVID hit, what I started realizing is more couples were coming in, more men were coming in, more people of color were coming in. And to me, that was an indicator right there that people were like, now that I've stopped, I can't stop that part of my brain that just keeps on going. And I really need to deal with these things, because when you're on the go all the time, you can use that as a distractor to not really take care of your mental health. And when everyone had to stop to a certain extent, depending on what professions, and even the professions that were essential and had to keep going, they were seeking out the support and help because they couldn't stop, but they were overwhelmed and stressed. So in this movement, I almost feel like mental health is becoming destigmatized. And one of my sayings is I'm a Latina therapist trying to redefine therapy, because therapy is not what it once was. Therapy is so much more and can provide so much more for people. And I'm one of those therapists that are like, hey, come join us. Come join us. It's about transitioning, it's about stress, it's about being overwhelmed, identifying those key points that you feel like will be good for you to really start identifying and working on.
I love that. I am a firm believer, and I always was, so this is not new for me, but I'm a firm believer in paying attention to our mental health. Really, really important. What I love about your practice, though, is that not only are you seeing your clients, virtually and in office and the way that we have traditionally seen clients, but you're also doing retreats to get people together to develop community around this idea of improved mental health. Tell us a little bit about how you started doing retreats and what those look like for you now.
Yes, so back in 2021, between the COVID happening at 2020 and 2021, I started realizing more women were coming in and just feeling lost, right? And through this, whether there were relationships or not, a lot of them were not able to identify some of the things that they enjoyed. A lot of them were starting to have depression during that time and acknowledging their anxiety. And because everybody was kind of sitting down and just waiting and had no choice but to go with the flow, they realized, I don't even know who I am anymore. So that inspired me to say, you know what, I think we need a retreat. I think we need like a mastermind, a workshop to really hone in on women who are having difficulties identifying and realizing, where is my self-love? Where is my self-worth? So they're kind of sprung up unapologetically, which is one of my services that I provide. It's the self-love movement for women. And I ended up creating this 2-day workshop overnight just for women. And we worked on just that. And in the midst of it, I created my guided journal called Unapologetically Me, which is now a registered trademark. And we worked on this guided journal, and I brought speakers in, I facilitated. We spent 2 days intensively working on women, their self-love, breaking down anger, identifying fears, and doing mirror exercises and all these other skills and things that help them heal through their process and begin that journey. So for a lot of them, that started right there, knowing that self-love was important for them. And then from there, it turned into a part 2 where we extended the time and I brought in different other providers. And now it was about self-discovery and discovering, who are you? What do you enjoy? What do you like? And just going down this journey. And at the end of it all, it's for you to be able to see who you really are through this and continuing your journey from there. It's nonstop and it's never linear, but it's all about you in life, and you want to discover that about yourself too and love this journey regardless of where it might lead.
That's outstanding. I'm just actually speechless, because it seems to me that, I'm not saying that men don't experience this too, but it seems to me like this is a problem that many women have to deal with. We're so focused on, in a lot of cases, taking care of everybody and everything. We're taking care of family, we're taking care of the home, we're taking care of whatever it is that we do for work. Sometimes we fall by the wayside. So it's so outstanding that you're doing this, that you're not only working with your clients, but you're also creating community
Yes.
around this idea. Because sometimes what I know is that we can feel so alone and so siloed in our feelings, and we can feel like, oh, I really should be doing some things for myself and taking care of myself, but you know what, I'm alone in this, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But then you
Right.
get into a community of women who are all going through the same thing, and suddenly you realize, oh, I'm not alone, and I can change, and I can change, and I have support to change, and I have community that's going to cheer me on through my change. So I'm a big fan of retreats, and I love, love, love what you're doing.
Thank you.
You said yes to being a part of our upcoming anthology, which is now a bestseller, Live Your Optimal Life. So congratulations on being a best-selling author.
Thank
Can
you.
you tell us a little bit about why did you say yes to being a part of this project, Marianne?
For me, it was the mission behind it, right? If we just the title alone, Live Your Optimal Life, and what that's going to look like, what does that convey? What is it about? For me, I was like, oh, I'm completely aligned with this. And over the years, I've learned how to just choose the things and say yes to the things that I feel energetically aligned to versus just saying yes just to say yes. Because for me, there's no purpose or intent behind that. So I am very intentional about the things that I choose to be a part of. But this, I felt like had my name written all over it. And then a lot of my colleagues are part of it as well, which I enjoyed. And why not be best-selling author with a lot of my colleagues out there as well, and just share in this moment together. So for me, getting to share and write my story as far as my thoughts of living your optimal life was important, because I believe that all of us have a story to share, and it's important to be able to put it out there and see who it resonates with, and that could be the one thing that helps you live your optimal life.
Yeah, I love the anthologies that we do because they're an aggregation of women who have amazing stories to share. And yeah, it's great to put your story out there, whatever, that's fine. But when you have a story to share that has a message,
Yeah.
it's often that there's somebody out there who is in this moment going through that exact same situation,
Mhm.
and they could benefit so much from just hearing from you, hearing that somebody else went through this, hearing that they went through it and they're okay and they came out on the other side, and maybe these are some of the steps that they took. And one of the things I like about your chapter is that yes, you share your story, but then you integrate it, you show us how your story can apply to us, and you even give us some homework at the
Mhm.
end, some little journaling prompts that we can take our own message away from this and go into our lives and see how we can start living a better life. Because a lot of us, we're on this treadmill. We're just, I can tell you what my day has looked like all week this week. I get up, I get the kids ready, put them on the bus, come to work, see patients, leave
Yep.
work, either go to take kids to sports things, or one day this week I had to do open house for kids, and then come home, get kids ready for bed, go to bed myself, and then wake up tomorrow morning, do it all again.
Mhm.
Today's, I mean, we don't want to timestamp these, but today I really, really had to say to myself, is this my optimal life? And I'm not saying that every single day is going to be, sunshine and roses and
Right.
unicorns and butterflies,
Mhm.
but I think it's that feeling that you have inside. Are you just going through the motions, or are you
Right.
feeling the feelings of joy and peace and love and gratitude as you're going through your day? I think that's the difference. And I
Mhm.
know in my case, I got a little bit divorced from the emotion. I was just
Yep.
going through the motions.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about your chapter in the book. Don't give the whole thing away. We definitely want people to get their book. And folks, you can get your copy of Live Your Optimal Life by just going to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket. And when you go there, you're going to get a bunch of bonuses, because one, you're going to get the book in its paperback form. You're going to get access to the Kindle copy so you can read the ebook. You're going to get access to the Ladies Power Lunch Summit. You're going to get access to the Ladies Power Lunch Summit bonus days. And this summit is every single one of the authors in the Ladies Power Lunch anthology, Live Your Optimal Life. They're sharing with you workshop style exactly how you can go about living your optimal life. And of course, if you get your book within a certain time period, you'll get a little bit of summit swag. So that's another fun reason for you to go get your book at growsmarter.harder.com/ticket. So tell us a little bit about your chapter, Marianne.
So mine is about the self-love journey. It's what I practice, is what I try to teach women through unapologetically, the platform for women. And I wanted to share a little bit about my journey and how I ended up making that a prominent factor in my life, even when I didn't realize that I was. Kind of the situation that ended up getting me to a point where I needed to discover who I was. So, which you guys would read in the book, in the chapter, but not realizing until years later and becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist and thinking, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that. Right. And then, so, about 10 years later, 10, 15 years later, this is what I'm trying to help empower other women to do. So for me, in my chapter, it's about sharing just a little bit about how I came about developing that self-love journey, what mine somewhat looked like, obviously not all the details, but just putting it all out there and just hoping that women can resonate to some parts of it and feeling like they have lost that part of themselves and trying to regain it. And it's all going to look differently for everybody.
Yeah, thank you for sharing so vulnerably too in your story. And I mean, you say you didn't go into all the details, but I feel like you went into enough detail for us to really get a sense of what was happening with you in your life. And a lot of the times we feel uncomfortable sharing so vulnerably, but I know that your story is the story of so many, and it's gonna definitely help others.
Yeah.
As we are trying to live our best life, live our optimal lives, you, I'm sure, have advice for us. And I'm sure as you see clients and you see your patients and as you see people coming through your retreats, there probably is a through theme that you're able to pick up on. If you were able to take the whole world into a big giant hug and give us all just one piece of advice, one thing that you think most of us are missing out on, what would that be when it comes to living our optimal life?
I would say exactly what my chapter is about. I might be biased on that, but it's about self-love. A lot of times we lose such a big sense of ourselves. We don't know who we are and catering to other people. And if we don't love ourselves, how are we going to pour that out genuinely and unapologetically to other people? Right. And so I feel like once you discover that part, all those parts of yourself, the imperfect parts and the parts that you feel like and that are amazing, put them together. They are you. And once you discover that and you're okay with that and you can move forward with that, it's easier to pour into other people because you're not feeling all the vulnerable feelings as much. You're just like, yeah, I know that's that emotion, that's that feeling of me, but I'm okay with it and I'm confident with it as well. And even when times you're not, you can acknowledge it and it's still okay. So for me, I feel like that self-love part and aligning with who you are authentically is exactly what's going to help everyone else.
That's right on target. So if you had to give us, we're talking steps now, if you had to give us some do's and don'ts for living our optimal life, what are some things that you would definitely advise us to do and some things you'd say, hey girl, avoid doing that?
So one of the do's, self-reflect. One of the biggest keys of knowing who you are as a person is being able to understand why you may respond or react or do what you do, right? Knowing your intention and the purpose of your life or what you're trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. Don't ignore your own emotions. Don't ignore when things pop up and you just want to move on forward or tell yourself, I am who I am. Because a lot of times that's just a big defense mechanism that we built up because we're unsure or we're scared about finding out who we really are. And a lot of times it could be from our past experiences, any traumas that have developed over the years and things that you have experienced that you're just like, I'm not ready for that. So therefore I'm like the hard M&M shell, right? So don't do that, but allow yourself to sit with it and learn how to soothe yourself from that. Learn how to tell yourself that it's okay. Giving affirmations is a big one. Learning affirmations that can truly help you along your journey and on your path to help you feel more confident and knowing that it's okay that things don't look the greatest, right? Because life will throw everything at you and you want to be able to say, that's okay, I can manage it. And there's some days that it might be harder than others, and that's okay too. Acknowledge those feelings, right? Journal, learn how to journal, learn how to be within nature and understanding what feels good for you. don't be afraid of all those things that life can throw your way. Learn to just understand how you react or how you respond to them, because for that you can have a better understanding of who you are as a person, and then learn to genuinely love that, and then therefore navigate life. Some parts of it is about following your intuition, and I think a lot of times we stop following that, especially when we're going through routine things in life. We no longer trust ourselves. So trust your judgment and know that you will lead yourself to the path that is going to be best for you.
These are all really, really good ideas, really good suggestions. Do you have a story of maybe a client or even personal situation that you can share where using these do's and don'ts, learning to self-reflect, learning to journal, to be in nature, learning affirmations, not ignoring your own emotions, learning to soothe yourself, acknowledging your own feelings, understanding your intuition and trusting your own judgment. Do you have stories of clients or situations that you can share with us that will really bring this home?
Absolutely, yes. I've had a client that I've been working with for a couple of years now, and one of the biggest struggles was self-love. Going through a relationship that was devastating for her, and for her trying to understand the whys, right? Why didn't it work? Why wasn't I good enough? And then you see sometimes your partners go through different relationships, and you're like, but why could it have been me? But also us sometimes knowing that the partner wasn't good for us, right? But one of the biggest things that she struggled with, and even with me, was being vulnerable. So she would cry and release and apologize. A lot of times we're apologizing for crying. That is your body's way to regulate itself. You have to allow yourself to cry. So I tell her, stop apologizing to me. Let it go. Be free. If you want me to leave, I'll do that. But whatever you have to do, start being comfortable with how your body is trying to regulate itself. And it's been grieving for such a long time. And all you've done is held it in and held it back. So just learning and understanding that it's okay to do these things. And a lot of the times we were working on her self-doubt, not being able to trust herself because, well, I picked somebody who wasn't the greatest and I thought I did, and for some reason it still didn't work out. And so therefore, how do I know the next relationship I get into is going to be the one for me? Right. So a lot of times we're working on that through journaling, through affirmations, through some of the things in sessions that we might do as far as activities, and saying, see, that was a good decision. That was a great one. Didn't that feel good? And just learning for her to go energetically with what she feels like is right for her, right? Dealing with a lot of anxieties. A lot of it is fear-based as well, as learning to acknowledge when it is fear versus when it is something that we're unsure about. A lot of times fear will hold us back from making a decision, and therefore we're missing out on things. And I'm not saying like the FOMO of not going on the trip or anything else, versus it's more about we're not leaving the toxic, unhealthy job. We're not leaving the unhealthy, toxic relationship because fear of the unknown or fear of not wanting to be by yourself. But if you have a fear of not wanting to be by yourself, you have to start asking yourself, why do I fear being with me? What is it about me that I fear? Because that shouldn't be it. You should love, regardless if you're with someone or by yourself, you should love just your own company. And so throughout the years, it was learning how to do that. And now I can say it's still in progress, but she's trusting her own judgment. She is utilizing her affirmations and journaling, doing more meditation, doing all the skills. And again, this is someone who not only does a talk therapy, she actually is choosing her path of healing and growing. And she has chosen other services that I provide to be able to cultivate for herself what she wants internally. And therefore, for her, she's grown to be more confident in the thing that she does and learning that self-love.
That's an outstanding story, and that's the reason why it's so important, because all the things that you're talking about with this particular client, I'm sure our audience members are just nodding their heads along like, yes, I can identify with that, or I know somebody who's been through something like that. Even if it's not relationship based, we've all made decisions where we thought it was the right decision, and then it didn't go the way we planned, and we can beat up on ourselves for that and doubt our decision making process. as we go forward. It could be something to do with career, it could be finances, it could be other types of relationships. It's important that we take the lessons here.
Yeah. Learn from them. It always has something to say. It may not feel good, but there's a lesson in everything that we go through.
As we are trying to make this show very practical, making sure that when people tune in, not only do they get to meet one of our amazing Ladies Power Lunch members, but they're also having the opportunity to get something tangible that they can work on and improve their lives every time we meet together like this. Can you give us a little bit of homework, something that we can do to live our optimal lives?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I would say is pull out a pen and a piece of paper and try to identify one of the vulnerable parts that you have that you don't like to show people. Because chances are, if you don't like to show people, you are actually probably rejecting it within yourself. And so what ends up happening is, if you're rejecting it, it's a part of yourself that you may have grown to not like over the years. Show it out, acknowledge it, write it down, sit with it. Try to figure out why you don't like that part of you, because these emotions are very much so a part of who you are. Ask yourself why. And then from there, try to reframe it and say, maybe I misunderstood you. What is it that you need from me? Is it more love? Is it more acknowledgement and attention? And then see what that part has to say to you in order for you to start embracing it instead of rejecting it.
Beautiful. I'm sure everybody can't wait for us to be all done so that they can go do this exercise, because this is definitely going to be one that is going to be beneficial for everybody. It's always a good idea for us to share resources that are working for us, things that are great, that we're loving, that might just help others who are watching along to grow their businesses smarter and live their optimal lives. So are there any TV shows, any books, any apps, any resources, or even any life hacks that you would like to share with us that you think might help us live our optimal life?
So I actually been leaning on a lot to my colleagues that are kind of on a different level than I am, right? Sometimes we feel in a way if somebody else we feel like are on a different level than we are. And for me, I'm embracing them, like say, hey, let me reach out to you guys. Let me see what you're doing, right? So one of the things that I've been doing is trying to be more open, and sometimes I am an introverted person, and I try to extend myself a little bit more and just trying to navigate in that avenue. Sometime right now, like I'm reading The Courage of Habit by Kate. I'm gonna mess up her last name, Soboda. But reading has been something that I do enjoy. I actually ended up downloading the app called Blink, and it gives me 15-20 minutes blurbs of different books, because if it's a book that I feel like I can gain some knowledge of, that's the one I'm going to purpose, but it gives you different snippets. For me, I'm always someone I'm okay with being a student. So anywhere I can learn information, I'm trying to grab and absorb. And it doesn't mean because I want to know it all. It just means that sometimes I just know that there's a lot to life and there's a lot that I don't know. And especially if I'm in kind of like the education realm of things and the mental health portion, I want to be able to help people as much as I can with some of the information that I may not know or what I have learned, right? So reading has been a go-to for mine as far as meditating. Meditating is something that I've been doing as well. And something about the sound and just being within yourself is something that's soothing and relaxing and self-care. And you can do it within 5 minutes if you so choose. So for me, it's never an excuse not to have self-care, because we need that break. If you can scroll for 5 minutes, you can meditate for 5 minutes.
You heard it here, folks. If you can scroll for 5 minutes, you can meditate for 5 minutes. That one, somebody needs to put it on a t-shirt. That's all I'm saying.
I think so.
So people are going to want to connect with you, Marianne, because you have such a calming presence. I'm sure people are going to want to know how to get in touch with you. How can they find you?
Yeah, so my website is www.mendingheartsct.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Mending Hearts LLC. And there's quite a few I've realized with Mending Hearts LLC. So I'm the one with the double hearts, and as well as Instagram at mheartsct.
Excellent. Folks, reach out to Marianne. She is amazing. She's one of our newest best-selling authors with the Ladies Power Lunch anthology, Live Your Optimal Life. And go get your copy of Live Your Optimal Life at growsmarter.com/Facebook. And come join us in our Facebook group, and you'll get a chance to learn all about all our authors. You'll get a chance to connect with all our members, and you'll get a chance to be supported in the way that only Ladies Power Lunch women know how to do. Thank you so much, Marianne, for being our very, very special guest today. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching along, and I'll see you all on the next show. Bye.
Bye.